Looking for a fun way to win 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/play100 and use code PLAY100. That's code PLAY100 at prizepicks.com/play100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Welcome to the Augusta Golf Show podcast. Now, here's John Patrick.
Well, Curtis Strange is a 2-time major champion, winning one of his U.S. Opens at Oak Hill. He is a member of the World Golf Hall of Fame and covers major championships for ESPN. Pleasure to welcome Curtis Strange to the Augusta Golf Show for the very first time. How are you, Curtis?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. Let me start with this. Earlier this week, Wake Forest women win the national championship. How about that?
You know, I watched every shot. I bit every fingernail I had off. It was hard for them, and they really played well. And, you know, we're just a small little school over there in Winston-Salem. So whenever we can get a national championship, it means a great deal to all of us in the Deacon Nation.
We talked a little bit before going on the air. I know that you're 3 years older than I am. We both grew up in Tidewater. 2 questions. Why did you choose Wake? And if not Wake, where would you have gone?
Well, looking back on it, my family wanted me to go to UVA, but they didn't give any aid. And, you know, Dad had died young, so we needed some aid for me to go to college. And Wake Forest, you know, came to the help. And plus, you think you can play and you want to go to a good golf school, and Wake was the best golf school in our region. Quite frankly, it was Georgia, it was Wake, it was Florida, it was Houston, it was Southern Cal. So there weren't many really golf schools giving full scholarships out there. And being a Palmer fan, and Arnold went to Wake, and then Lanny, being from Richmond, who was currently at Wake. I said, "Geez, it's a given for me. I signed on the dotted line," and I did.
Was anybody else close? Would you have thought about Houston or something like that?
No, I really didn't. I would have thought about it if it was anybody else around. I mean, Maryland had a nice program, and I guess State had a nice program, NC State. But Wake was the best, and when the best comes calling and says we want to give you a full ride, then you sign. And I didn't know how good I was. I was so apprehensive going down there because I knew they just won the ACC the year before, and when you don't play outside of your state, you just don't know how you measure up. And so you went down there, and things worked out well, and we gelled together and we played well together. But that was pretty much it. I mean, when you're 17, 18, there's no right or wrong reason, but I do know, looking back on it, and I've said this many, many times, I'm sitting here talking to you today because I went to Wake Forest. They gave me the opportunity to play against 3 or 4 of the best players in the country every day on our team, get a little bit of an education, and had a great coach.
Who was the best? I know Jay was on the team, and Andy Bean would have been at Florida. Who was the best player you saw at that time?
Jerry Pate was talented but didn't win much. When I was a freshman, Gary Koch and Andy Bean were in Florida. They were the team to beat. We did beat them. I don't know. We were good. We didn't look at it that way. We came in as 2 freshmen, 2 sophomore, and junior, and won our first year. So we didn't look at other people being better than we did. We really did.
I love that. Speaking of the Wayback Machine, you went back to Oak Hill last week. Had you been back at all, or often, or not at all?
No, I went back, and I was there for a dinner some years ago, and I'd never been back to really see the course. I'd heard a lot about it. I have friends there. Craig Harmon, the longtime pro there for 42 years, is a dear friend. And so I was really anxious to go see what they'd done. And what they'd done was terrific. And I think those who are listening that watched it on TV last week saw that. Even if you don't remember what Oak Hill was, you saw how pretty, pristine, how challenging it was this year, last week. And so it was tremendous. It was a great test. You don't want to go play golf in May in Rochester, New York. That's not on your bucket list type of trip. But later in the year it is. But it's the fans. They spill over from Buffalo. They're a great sports town. It was all good. It was a tremendous week. PGA hit a home run with it, and they got a great champion in Brooks Koepka.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit matchup to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
We're talking with Curtis Strange here on the Augusta Golf Show. Were you surprised at how well Brooks played?
No, not after Augusta.
Okay.
I was a little bit surprised is the wrong word. I was a little bit impressed by how well he played, because quite frankly, they had not played a lot of competitive golf, because those who on the LIV tour had only had 2 tournaments prior to Augusta for the year. Now, come to find out, he'd played in one or two other events over there in the Far East. But I think not being on that stage for 6 months, 8 months, the big stage, playing in these 54-hole tournaments, not to knock them, but it's not the same thing. There's not many people. There's no energy. It's a different animal. So my comment before the week was that I think he might have some rust, and he did not at Augusta. And so after seeing that full well on, that I thought he was going to be capable at a PGA. When you're starting to pick, prior to the tournament, we're doing the sports centers all week. They want you to pick and tell why or why not people will play or play. You're throwing darts blindfolded.
Sure.
You pick on basically who's playing well, their talent level, and what their current form is. And Koepka's current form was good. Dustin Johnson, LIV players, current form was good. Cam Smith was good. So it wouldn't surprise me any of those players played well at the PGA.
Do you think they've got any bit of buyer's remorse when they get to a tournament, when they get to a major, and they sort of remember what it was like? Do you think they have some pangs for that?
John, I think so.
Yeah.
The energy that's at the Masters and the PGA, and the energy you get from the fans and what you can give back to them. National television, 30,000 fans, the big stage, against the best players in the world, and Scheffler and Rahm and all the rest. Do they have buyer's remorse? I don't know if they have buyer's remorse or not, but I think they missed that stage. Absolutely.
Can you see Brooks in the World Golf Hall of Fame?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Now, because he's won 5 majors, all majors. You have to remember the big problem with all of this is the PGA Tour and LIV. They broke our bylaws, the PGA Tour bylaws, my bylaws, they broke them, and they're suspended. So they will be suspended from the PGA Tour for quite a while, even after their contract runs out and they want to come back.
Yeah,
that's the word. But to go in the Hall of Fame, absolutely. It's a World Golf Hall of Fame. It is not a PGA Tour Hall of Fame. And that's why I have to keep reminding people. I'm pushing for an amateur to get in now who's got a record only second to Bobby Jones, and there's pushback. But it's not a pro Hall of Fame. It's a professional. No. It's a golf Hall of Fame. So anyway, absolutely yes.
With that line, PGA champions are always on the Ryder Cup team. Is he on this year's Ryder Cup team?
Oh yes, absolutely. I don't know what Zach Johnson came out last week and said, I haven't gone there yet. I haven't thought about picks yet. Brooks Koepka certainly going to be an option, and that was before he won number one. That was like on Thursday or Friday or Saturday. Now that he's won, absolutely, without doubt, might be the second or third best player on the team. And if he's on the team, everything will be just fine. You have to remember these players before they left for LIV. There's no animosity. There's no problem with those players. They left to go to play to accept a large appearance money, and that's okay. They can do whatever they want to do. Just don't turn around and sue us or want to change the rules and come back and play our tour. That's where the problem comes in. And so the players themselves, what I'm getting at, is they have no problem with each other whatsoever. Brooks, is Brooks, so his swagger might not fit somebody else's personality, but that's competition. That's athletics. So they'll all be just fine, whoever's going to be on that team.
Before I let you go, this is something I can't get out of my head for the last couple of months, Masters and now the PGA. Do you think Rory would benefit from a caddy change? He won his majors. No. He won his majors with JP, and then signed up his buddy. Yeah. And
well, change sometimes is good. I'm not blaming the caddy for anything. Any scores Rory's shooting right now, but sometimes a caddy change is a new face, new personality. Oftentimes we see a guy pick up a new caddy for a week, and they play well. Why is that? I don't know, but it seems very odd, doesn't it? Rory needs to get back to living and breathing the game in which he loves and he plays. Rory is that type of personality that wants to be involved mentally and physically. He's a talker. I heard somebody say that last week, and I agree with that. He's a talker. He's a very intelligent, thoughtful young man. And when he goes to the press room, he's honest to a fault. And that's good. The press love him. I love him for that. But sometimes you need to back off a little bit and not talk about, something else other than golf. So I think he needs to get back to playing golf. And that's tough to do, though. When you have a personality that wants to be involved, that's not easily done. That's why he chose to be on the policy board of the PGA Tour. That's why he chooses to go and talk about these things. But I think it takes away from his golf just a little bit.
I told you before we came on the air, I have wanted to do this for a very long time. I'm glad we finally
let's
connected.
Keep on. I'm in no hurry.
Oh, well, you know what? That's a bad thing that you just said, because I'll call you back.
You got it. Anytime.
He is Curtis Strange, a two-time major champion, member of the World Golf Hall of Fame. Curtis, thank you so very much for doing this.
Thanks,
I
John.
appreciate
it. Enjoyed it.